Before we begin, I must make you aware. You are leaving the normalcy of your world as you know it behind. You are entering the mind of a possibly mad man. A madman with a million ADHD thoughts all at once. You are crossing over into my realm, a domain in which I am Judge Judy and Executioner. An area that is so far in the depths of hell that your ears might pop from the pressure, and you might have to fake yawn or chew gum to feel normal again. I'm going to ask you the questions that plague my mind, and in doing so, I will probe to the deepest parts of your soul. Be warned, you are about to enter the Nickell Vicinity.
Hey, it's Underscore again, and the pals are all with me today on Father's Day, hiding from our children, huddled underneath separate blankets with only the tiny LED glow of our podcast microphones for warmth. Everyone but childless cat dad ShadoSpartan, obviously the smartest of the time pals. As you can tell by the intro, I gave the nostalgia keys to the time pal with the highest delirium to pensive question ratio, Nickell. And with me as always is perma guest host and retro video game reviewing host, ShadoSpartan. As always, Shadow's work can be found in the links to the episode description.
I just dined in breakfast, so I'm feeling good.
As always, Shadow's work can be found in the links in the description below. Finally, former Girth Brooks, always the chillest pal in the room, and now returning to his government name, Jobin.
Oh, God. Imagine if that was my government name, though. I already have so much to not forgive my parents for.
Just permanently misspelled on every application.
Which is how I got, which is why I started using this in the first place. But could you imagine if that was a verbal typo? Somehow someone just, they're so tired from the birth, they just slurred my, Jobin. I'm like, oh, okay.
Jobin?
I don't even know if that's how it's pronounced. Is it Jobin or Jobin? I sit on a throne of lies.
We are all here today. Every pal, even the childless ShadoSpartan the Wise, has no reason to be awake. So, Nickell, for the rest of the time, pals, what are we doing in the Nickell Vicinity?
Okay, so basically, I'm going to ask you guys bunch of just random questions. Some of my favorites, like just random thought-provoking, mindless questions. There's no right or wrong answer. Feel free to elaborate on your answers. And you can ask questions too. Okay?
Okay, are we trying to win an argument against you or against each other?
No. It's just a sharing of your opinions. It's mostly just about picking at your guys' brain.
What do you get out of it?
Well, I mean, just the pure feeling of power that I can, manipulate your world and make you answer some weird questions.
Oh, no, I understand. I'm down. Go ahead.
Now, I mean, if I feel your answer is particularly wrong, I'll speak up and say so. But there's no real right or wrong answer. No, but you can ask questions to clarify if you want. Nothing wrong with that. I'll give you as much or as little information as I feel like I want to. Okay, so now, to maintain some organization, we're going to make an order in which you guys will kind of answer. You'll take turns, just so we're not talking over each other. So, Underscore, why don't you start us off by picking a number?
A number? Between what and what? Just any number?
You're gonna make this real difficult if you're not already following directions.
God damn it, that is the first question.
Just pick a number.
10.
10? Okay. Jobin?
I thought you were going to make me lose.
69.
Nice. All right, Shadow?
Let's do 44.
Okay. Well, because Mike has a hard time following directions already, we're gonna make him go last. Because Underscore's
Okay.
got a hard time following directions.
I'm fine with this. You make a great decision.
So,
Stop brown nosing. I know it's hard for you with your complexion, but
okay,
Thanks, Hitler.
let's go, we'll go Jobin, ShadoSpartan, followed by Underscore. Okay?
Sounds good.
all right.
We're gonna start off easy, just to get the brain juices flowing. I want to know who you guys think has the funnier style of humor, like Mel Brooks or the Zucker brothers. So like Naked Gun, Airplane, Police Squad.
Oh, I mean, wow. That that's r- that's a really hard one. That's a really hard one.
Wrong.
I don't both of them have so many good gags that I reference regularly. Like I want to say the Zucker brothers because Mel Brooks was a pioneer. Mel Brooks really did a lot of good stuff, but I feel like the Zucker brothers really took things a step further with certain kind of lower profile gags in their movies. Like a good example that a lot of people probably don't realize in this. God, I hate that sentence. It makes me sound like I'm about to be like, look how smart I am. But one that always caught me and made me laugh a lot was, I forget which Naked Gun movie, but it's where what's his name goes through the door and then Leslie Nielsen just walks around the door into the other room. And it's just these very simple gags that take you a second to catch on to. So I feel like they really ran with it and just kind of used Mel Brooks as inspiration and just kind of grew further.
I fucking hate this one. Am I going on last?
I think that's the end of my.
I'm not gonna jump in too much on these questions, but I do want to add. I would pick the Zucker brothers on this one, and I like their word humor, their wordplay. So, like, Leslie Nielsen offers a cigarette, and then the other character's like, "Yes, I know," but he's just like, "Cigarette? Yes, I know." I think like that kind of stuff is really funny. Anyway,
I also didn't realize that they were responsible for the Scary Movies.
yeah. Well, I don't think it's both of them. I think one of them directed or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Uh,
in there.
Don't they trade off? Isn't like one? Don't they like one writes, one directs? I don't remember. I might be wrong.
I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, ShadoSpartan, your turn.
Mine might be a little bit biased because I love Spaceballs, so I have to go with Mel Brooks on that one. Still a favorite movie.
Thank you.
So yeah, no doubt about it, Mel Brooks.
Good choice, pal. Good choice time, pal.
Ooh, you know what? Underscore gets -1 point.
You know what? Do I get to go now?
Yes, it is your turn.
So I don't disagree with in terms of Naked Gun and whatnot, right? So you're completely 100% correct. Naked Gun movies are awesome. Kentucky Fried Movie, honestly, ahead of its time. Honestly, Airplane. I don't know why we're talking about the wordplay, like stuff like Airplane and whatnot. To me, just threw the jokes at you like a punch in the face.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, their best work. I get the fourth wall breaking and stuff like that, but the best work is still all the visual shit. Like they're so good at that. The Zucker brothers are really good at that.
True.
The reason why I'm gonna always go in this situation with Brooks, not only because of the longevity of Brooks, and obviously for me, Blazing Saddles is one of the best comedies ever made. So as long as he has that in his back pocket, to me it beats Naked Gun, it beats Airplane.
Okay,
But
that's
with that said, with the Zucker brothers, they relied, in my opinion, heavily on the parroting of other stuff.
mhm.
So they needed to have base already in there
Mhm.
and then try to build their humor from showing everybody, hey, look at this thing you already know,
Right.
versus say the producers or Young Frankenstein, right?
Right. That's fair. Fair.
I mean, you could say like, okay, we're making fun of Frankenstein, but we're not. We're actually not. We're giving its own different story. We're not really referencing the original Frankenstein, right? Same thing with your Blazing Saddles. I know they're making fun of quote unquote cowboy movies, but they're not making fun of a particular cowboy movie.
Mhm.
Whereas Airplane famously makes fun of a specific movie.
Right.
So I don't disagree. I don't disagree in the sense where I'm like, oh, the Zucker brothers suck. How dare you? It's just more like, I feel like if you're Brooks, you had to start somewhere in a much harder space. You had to write these comedies versus you can just kind of throw skits if you're the Zucker brothers. I'm not a big fan of the scary movie series, honestly. Like the only one I really liked was the first one, which is a Wayne's Brother movie, and they only did like the last ones. I thought they were terrible. But I will give them credit for one thing. I just looking at their history now. One of them wrote Rat Race, which, in my opinion, is a very underrated movie. I don't know anybody that likes it.
Oh,
I love that
I know
movie,
a ton
man.
of
At least when I
people
was
that
young.
love it.
Rat Race I thought was great. Like I said,
Narcoleptic Mr. Bean.
oh,
Like,
go ahead. Yeah. It still has one of my favorite, again, punch in the face style comedy, has one of my favorite visual gags where John Lovitz is I don't remember how he gets into an old Hitler style car, and
I remember. Because he goes to the Barbie museum. His kids think it's a Barbie museum, but it's the Klaus Barbie museum.
And he ends up, he hit his face or something like that, but he ends up with like a mustache, and he crashes his car into an old World War II like remembrance thing. and I'll just never forget this really old man in an American World War II uniform just slowly stands up and takes a shot. And it's so great because with the gun shaking and shit. I mean, again, they're so good, but you're never gonna beat, for me, Blazing Saddles. I mean, that's one of the most quotable movies ever made. You can people still use it as an example of, quote unquote, we can't make this movie anymore, even though it's not a real
100%.
statement, but they still use it because it was so out there, right? It was so, like, in my opinion, it's probably up there with some of my favorite movies of all time.
I feel like now you actually could make that movie again because you have directors like Seth MacFarlane, Kevin Smith, and actors who would be completely fine doing that gag. Like, I feel like it probably wouldn't be a far cry to if you were to remake it or have a movie. Let's not put the curse in the air of remaking that movie. If you're going to make a movie with a similar gag and you needed a black actor to do it, there's plenty who remember that gag for what it was, think it's hilarious, and would be like, yes, let's absolutely do it. Just like how everybody was up in arms at first about Robert Downey Jr. and oh no, I forgot the name, but
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, in Tropic Thunder. And people were like, no, that's hilarious. Like, Jamie Foxx defended him in so many different places because they're like, no, that's one of the funniest things on the planet right there. I feel like with the right people, you could still make it. I think we're kind of coming out of that tunnel.
I think when it comes to Tropic Thunder, I think it was a very small group of people that didn't understand the joke. You know what I mean? Like, I think the main people understood that they were making fun of the fact that they'd rather have a white actor go through an entire surgical process to become a black actor. But I do understand that that would go over some people's heads, and the people's heads that would go over are the guys that love Scary Movie 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the ones that love the last Zuckerberg shit that needs that sledgehammer to the face. But I get it though. Tropic Thunder, another one of my favorites anyway.
I'm gonna get us back on off topic. So now that we kind of got the brain juices flowing, I'm gonna hit you with just a couple quick fire ones. Miracle Whip or mayonnaise?
Fucking neither. I hate that shit so much.
Oh, okay. All right, ShadoSpartan.
I hate mayonnaise in all its forms.
Mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise.
Underscore.
If we're gonna pick mayonnaise.
I don't eat mayonnaise or Miracle Whip. I don't know what the
Okay.
fuck that's for.
All right. Next, moving on. This one is especially for underscore, for making me wake up, early.
It's a wrestling question, I bet you.
The last time we both were graveyards. We're both awake for the same time period.
Okay, underscore 80s WWF Hulk Hogan or NWO Hollywood Hogan.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh.
Where is
Ooh.
Bortman when you need him?
All right, so Jobin,
Oh man,
which one?
I loved the NWO so much. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that really fucked with WCW's ratings because of NWO just running wild with it, but like it was a blast. And Hulk Hogan switching over, like, oh man, top 10 fucking M. Night Shyamalan plot twist right there.
All right, ShadoSpartan.
NWO for sure.
Oh, underscore.
So read me the question.
Okay.
So I was too busy being fucking furious.
All right, basically 80s WWF, Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, or NWO Hollywood Hogan.
So here's the thing. The storyline itself for NWO is one of the best storylines I've ever seen in my entire life, in anything, right? And the brilliant thing about this, because I am a wrestling nerd, if you want to go into wrestling just for a brief goddamn second. So Eric Bischoff stole the NWO storyline from a storyline that was going on in New Japan. What he lacked one, basically a real heart to the story. So the reason why they have Sting and whatnot in there is if Hogan said no, they would have gone with Sting instead. And so what they did was Hogan finally said yes, turned heel. Sting spends the entire pay-per-view or the entire show basically going like, why are you guys thinking I'm going to be the one turning heel? I'm the heart of WCW. I'm going to go up into the rafters and just haunt you guys for the rest of the year. Perfect, right? Awesome, right? You create the crow. Here's why I would go with 80s Hogan. Vince McMahon needed 80s Hogan to actually take over all the territories and give you the show that you know and remember as a child. So without 80s Hogan, without him basically taking Thunder Lips, I think it was AWA, and realizing he had somebody who had a lot of charisma, wasn't a great wrestler, but he gave you what was called a Hogan match, which was babyface Hogan starts the match well, heel takes over, babyface Hogan doesn't even need a hope spot, but they'll give him a hope spot, hulks up, quote unquote, and then wins the match. So you can put that style with any opponent you want. Just give him a monster of the week, and you as like an 8-year-old kid, you can introduce somebody and say, this is the guy who's going to end Hulkamania, throw him out there, and then Hogan works that match, gives you 2 to 3 stars, and every now and again, you can fuck with the formula. So if you have Hogan, who can't be beat by anybody, and suddenly he gets, suddenly his best friend on the planet, Andre the Giant, rips off his crucifix and says, I'm going to go, destroy you. And Bobby Heenan's jumping up and down. You have created elements that even as an 8-year-old who sees the formula thinks to themselves, oh my God, this time Hogan's going to lose. This time he's going to lose this time. I don't want him, but he's going to lose this time.
Right.
The NWO thing, by the time you watched it, you were either a teenager or were about to be. So there's a smartness to you, right? You kind of now, the internet just started. So there's an element of, I know what they're going to do. I know that this is a work. I know that this is fake, but every now and again, they will have to trick you. The problem with the NWO storyline at the end of the day was like people were saying, it didn't really destroy WCW. What destroyed WCW was them losing their TV deal. But what it did was it created laziness in the writing. Because once they gave the Sting storyline up, they realized that you always have to make NWO Hogan happy. So that's why that last match between Sting and Hogan was so bad. It should have been at a Starrcade. It should have been Hogan shows up, Sting shows up. The match is 3 minutes long because Sting just beats the shit out of Hogan. The audience loses their minds because you have this cathartic, like, hey, the bad guy's dead. Instead, you have Hogan come in, wrestle a Hogan match, literally, and then lose to a fast count that didn't actually happen. So they fucked up their own ending, basically. So now, as an audience member, you're thinking to yourself, like, oh, Hogan won again. Only you're not 8 years old anymore. You're now like 15, right? So it's not as fun.
Okay.
You feel like you wasted all that time. So I will defend 80s Hogan in this situation as being way more important than NWO Hogan. NWO Hogan gave us a brand new series of shit because the Attitude Era had to come from it in order to save that company again, ironically. But in the very beginning, you needed 80s Hogan or you would have nothing but territory still. You'd have little, you wouldn't have the wrestling world you'd have now, which a million years later, I'm still fucking talking about it.
Okay.
Not that I have a lot to say about wrestling.
No, I mean, I'd have to agree with you. You got to go with 80s Hulk Hogan because that's like, Hulkamania was so friggin' huge. Like, even for non-wrestling fans, you knew who Hulk Hogan was.
He was the first true star, honestly, that actually, I mean, his movies might have sucked and whatnot, but he was the first one where if you asked anybody in 1980, hey, name me a wrestler, he is the first and most likely only wrestler they'll name. And I'm a Macho Man guy. Like, I'm
Oh, I know
Macho
you
Man
are.
all day.
Yeah,
I'm not a
for
really
sure.
big Hogan guy at all. But yeah, I will 100% acknowledge it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now we're gonna take it up a notch. To a game I like to call Shitty Superpowers.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the first option is you can turn invisible, but only while screaming, or you can have superhuman strength, but you have to shit your pants in order to use it. So, Jobin, you're up first.
Oh, wow. I mean, having just hurt myself while doing a dump run from storage, I'm just tying this into the.
You gotta do a dump run to do a dump run.
Oh, God, I was already at the city dump. Nobody would have noticed if I shit myself in order to just launch that cloth 200 feet. There was definitely a smell there, and the people that worked that city dump must have nostrils of fucking steel. But yeah, I think I will take superhuman strength at the expense of having to shit myself to activate it.
Okay, all right, ShadoSpartan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with shit my pants to get super strength. Because if anyone wants to talk shit about it, well, I got super strength to beat the shit out of them.
Very valid point. Okay, underscore.
I'm gonna go with invisibility to switch it up because my entire life has been spent screaming about how much I hate everything about my life. So it'd be nice to just be like, I fucking hate everything, and then I just disappear and just leave me alone.
I feel like the kids would catch on though and just trail your imageless wails throughout the house.
Feel my whining. I can't believe he asked me an NWO Hogan's question. That motherfucker doesn't even understand. I'm a Macho Man guy, and just all these kids like this invisible screaming form.
Hey, there's that guy. Let's make him invisible and chucking rocks at you instead.
That's actually a good point. Imagine people who would just piss you off on purpose just to make you turn invisible.
Okay, so next one. You can turn invisible. You can fly, but only while naked. Or you can teleport anywhere in the world, but every time you do, one of your limbs changes placement on your body.
Ooh, yeah. No, I'm already naked most of the time. I'm naked right now almost. It just got a little cold, so I put a hoodie on. No socks. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with flying. I don't want to sit there and come off, and then I've got like my arm coming out of my asshole. Yeah, sit there with it dangling off my chin like Garth Brooks' microphone.
All right, Shadow.
I'm gonna have to go with flying around naked because I got no shame to show off. So Yeah.
Ain't no shame in this airborne game.
And underscore?
So, are you aware where it changes? Like, if I teleported to like Paris, will I know that my arm is now hanging out of my nostril, or
No,
am I just gonna be surprised?
no. And just, I mean, I guess, so let's say it's either just your 4 major limbs, and they will only like change position on your torso. But you could have,
Okay, so they just move around in a circle,
no. I mean, you could have an arm
like a
coming.
fidget spinner.
You could have an arm coming, right, or an arm coming out of your chest, you know,
Okay.
or a leg coming.
Oh, okay. So
okay.
they're not just rotating joints. Like you're not going to have shoulder legs.
See, I pictured, like pinwheel style, where they just move
No,
around.
so I mean, it could be out of your chest or out of your stomach, or arm out of your back. But let's just say if you teleport home, you reset. Okay.
Okay, teleport then, because I do have shame, and it's cold up there. So I'm not flying.
Yeah, but once
I don't understand why
Now-
this is I can get to where I need to get to faster
Now,
than you.
with that being said, do either of you guys want to change your answer?
no,
Nah,
not
sticking
at all,
with it.
man. Flying seems
shame in
fun.
that.
Flying seems fun. I don't want to
Yeah.
land in the middle of a large urban area and then all of a sudden there's children screaming because there's a foot coming out of my throat. Mommy, what is that? It's a monster. It's a monster, my child.
I'll be fine with it. Because the moment one of them turns invisible, I would have found my son.
All right, so next one. You can see 2 minutes, only 2 minutes into the future. Or read everyone's mind, but only their dirty thoughts. Do you think, Jabin?
I'll take the 2 minutes. I'll take the 2 minutes because while I don't mind knowing everybody's dirty thoughts, I guarantee you that, like, in a crowd, I'm all of a sudden going to just, like, catch the thoughts of some dude who's, like, hardcore into snuff films, and it's just going to ruin my day.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, he's just going to be there, and it's just going to be like, I want to watch this prostitute die while I shove a KFC chicken leg up my ass. And it's just like, no, I don't need that. I want normal, kinky thoughts, like, as my top limit there, and I won't have a choice there. So I will take 2 minutes in the future and hopefully be able to use it.
You have that power.
I mean,
now?
I have it now when it comes to the kids, because I think I'm just like, okay, I see what they're going to do, and I can. It's going to involve. Well, I mean, one of them thankfully just wants to lay in bed on her iPad with her friends, so that's not a far. Like, I don't really have to be psychic for that. The other one, though, who the fuck knows? She's a wild child.
How one is the snuff film kid?
Yeah, I've helped her in the bathtub, and she's just holding Barbie under the water, just like smiling to herself. I'm like, okay.
All right, ShadoSpartan.
This one's actually tough. I guess I should ask. So you can see into the future within 2 minutes, but now that I've seen the future and I see like what decisions are made, can I then see it again, but I like make a different choice, and now that changes the future?
So like let's
Is it like you can only see it once every 2 minutes? So that way it's like
Ooh, good
something has to
question.
happen. Like, I feel like that's,
Does it just become regular anxiety where you just
yeah, because it's
No,
like
okay.
I'm about to go into like an interview or something, and so I look into the future, like what the first 2 minutes are going to be like, and then it's like, you know what? I don't like how I said that, so I'm going to
right.
picture it
No.
differently this time.
Yes, you can alter the future within those 2 minutes, within what you see.
Okay, I think I'll still go with that. See into the future every 2 minutes.
Okay. Underscore.
I would actually. I think I'm going to go with Shadow on this one. Honestly, I feel like I already try to anticipate people's shit now. You know what I mean? And in my anticipation, I would assume everybody's a scumbag. So I kind of negates the whole reading dirty thoughts. Oh yeah, so 2 minutes is my choice.
It's pretty much unanimous. Everybody wants to see
Yeah,
2
2 on
minutes.
1. That's everybody.
Yeah, I want to see 2 minutes in the future. I said I didn't want to read the dirty thoughts because I'd come across that person. I don't want to know. Yeah, no.
Oh right.
But
right.
I am slightly reconsidering only because of one thing, and that is I'd want to use my future reading powers to determine if what I ordered for lunch was shit or not, and that's not long enough to get your order. And I'm just like, 2 minutes. I don't know anywhere that comes out with 2 minutes except for like McDonald's, and we already know we're not at McDonald's because we're happy, well-adjusted members of society. We're same with Taco Bell. Like I know what I'm getting there, but no, I think I'll stick with it because I don't know if the mental scarring of some people's thoughts is worth it.
Okay, so that one's unanimous. Okay, we all want to see 2 minutes into the future for, however little that can benefit us. That's a lot more beneficial
Right.
than the other option. Okay, so now I'm going to move into an age-old question. A question as old as time itself. Who would win in a fight, a grizzly bear or a gorilla?
Grizzly bear, easily.
Grizzly bear?
Grizzly bear. It's so much bigger. It's so much stronger. It's got so many more pointy objects on its body.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know anything about bone density except for that stuff where they're like, yeah, if you shoot a bear in the skull, like shoot it through the eye because the bullet won't pierce its skull. I'm like, well, that's horrifying. Like, also, what bear are we talking about here? What do we get? Are we a black bear, fucking panda bear? What are we doing here?
a grizzly.
And
Grizzly.
A grizzly. Oh yeah, grizzly, 100%. 7 out of 7 times, grizzly bear.
It's a tough one because I feel like the gorilla has more strength, but the grizzly bear has the advantage with claws, so he could cause more damage. So I'm going to go with the grizzly bear.
Okay, interesting. Now, in just, I don't really have a dog in the fight between a bear and a gorilla. I don't have a dog in that fight, but I mean, a gorilla can use tools too.
Fair enough.
Think about that.
I was going to ask that. I was going to say, are we doing like a Godzilla X Kong thing and he's using weapons and stuff?
Here's the thing. No. Here's the thing. This is 100% true because I had to watch. So because he asked this question before, and I'm like, I've never heard this question. I watched a video on this, and it turns out that silverback gorillas are garbage fighters.
Oh,
This is basically what it is. So the strength of a gorilla is high, right? It's approximately like 2,000 pounds. So it's enough to rip off somebody's arms and legs and their head and whatnot. But gorillas mostly fight with bites. So they can bite at about 1,300 pounds per square inch, where a grizzly bear, I want to say something like 1,200 pounds. So it's almost negated. And then on top of that, gorillas have no actual like strategy. They just maul. So like there's reports of people getting mauled for like a half an hour, getting bit for half an hour and not dying. That doesn't happen with a grizzly.
oh,
My whole thing too is that a gorilla with the whole tool thing, according to the video, and I believe it, they basically show like, hey, look, they have an intelligence, but they're not gonna like pick up a stick and like sharpen it and go stab the monster. They're used to picking up sticks and like digging into their own anus or you know what I mean, or like trying to eat termites with it. Because gorillas are not, they're not the kind of animal that uses their hunting capabilities to go kill prey.
right.
Whereas a grizzly, that's what it's known for, right?
Correct.
So the other thing too is gorillas, and this again, watch the fucking video. They have really tight skin, so they bleed really easy.
Oh, okay.
Grizzly bears, whenever you see them fight and they maul each other, when they're play fighting, part of the reason they can do that is because they have all this extra skin, just like Jobin was saying. So you could pull it. It's like taffy. Whereas gorillas don't really, and I know because you're making me flip my fucking argument because everybody's going with the grizzly. I'm gonna flip it around. I'm gonna say gorilla, and for 1.5-ish reasons why. You guys ever hear the nursery rhyme about what to do when you see a bear?
You scream at it or something?
No, that's my superpower. But there's an old rhyme that advises people where it's something like, if it's brown, go lie down. If it's black, go attack. If it's white, say goodnight. And if it's yellow, leave it mellow.
I think that's what my uncle's feelings on people were.
Oh no, I understand. But in any case, it's the kind of thing where the brown go lie down thing. If that rhyme is rooted in fact, and the gorilla has a mental capability to think about this kind of shit, because it does know when to run and when to not run, whereas a grizzly is just pure rage. I feel like if it just played dead, a grizzly bear will pick it up and toss it and then lose interest. I feel like there's an element of like, if it is gonna win, it's gonna win by just the grizzly bear losing interest and wandering away.
Okay.
And then the gorilla just standing up and being the only one still left around. Like, it basically
last animal standing.
Yeah, exactly. If to be honest with you, like, that's probably the only way it could do it. What I didn't know, and what I learned through the video, was that I guess there's whatever the Russian version of the grizzly bears, like it was Russian brown bear or something like that, they get attacked by tigers. And they lose to the tiger, like they said, like 30 times out of, like, let's say out of 100 times, they'll lose to it like maybe 60, 70. And I guess there is an element of, like, if something is fast and has like the sharper teeth and whatnot, but the gorilla doesn't do any of that. The gorilla is basically not used to fighting. It's used to like doing sign language and shit. Like, it's not the smartest opponent for this thing, which is why I didn't understand why this was even a question. I know you're saying it's as old as time, but I don't even know who came up with the question.
Not as old as
the internet came up with it. Like,
but why? Like, why would you look at a grizzly bear, look at a gorilla, and go, this grizzly bear is a murder machine that people are still afraid of today,
right,
or a silverback gorilla that gets really fat and old and throws barrels at
oh, I know 100%.
Like,
I can tell you exactly why, without question.
How come?
People want justice for Harambe. They want Harambe to win.
Damn it. That's a good point. I didn't think of that, because I have never heard this question until Nickell brought it up, and I'm like, out of all the random animals, why those two? You know what I mean? Like, it just that makes so much more sense now. Although somebody did bring it up in the same YouTube video that if you gave a gorilla this, like, enough time to learn all the martial arts, like Muay Thai, boxing, jiu-jitsu, what would be for real? Like, what would be the animal you think it would be able to beat? Like, what would be the biggest animal it could beat?
Humanity. It would beat humanity.
Well, dude, 2,000 pounds of strength is not. I mean, that's a lot of fucking strength. You know what I mean? Like, that's not anything, you know. But if it was able to be top martial arts, I think you might have a chance, because then it's not like blindly mauling and shit.
No, it's 2,000 pounds of calculated ass whooping.
Right?
Like, no, the gorilla wouldn't stop. It would defeat the first fight, and then it would go on to topple governments and take over militaries. And I, for one, welcome our new gorilla overlords.
Have a holy fuck the apes. You know, I mean, I know exactly what movie series I'd be watching now.
Yeah.
But it did kind of shock me a little bit that this was a question. Because the moment I'm like, well, fucking the grizzly bear, and they're like, well, maybe there's something I don't know. And then the video is just like, no, fuck it, it's the grizzly bear. I'm like, oh, okay.
Or maybe the gorilla is Gorilla Grodd from DC, and you could just use his psychic attacks to just kill the bear.
Well, no, because that's fake.
That's fake. That's a comic book. We're talking about real shit.
We're talking real.
Plausible scenarios.
Get your head out of your ass, Spartan.
Somebody they taught them sign language. Like, could you imagine a fucking gorilla that knows Muay Thai and sign language, and he's just calling you a bitch after he beats your ass?
Now, see that is real talk that we need, not none of this comic book stuff, ShadoSpartan.
Exactly. You got to start. Here's the thing, though. That means you got to learn all that stuff. So the first thing you got to do is you got to teach a smaller monkey karate, then beat the shit out of it.
Smaller monkey karate. Okay, all right. So on the smaller monkey karate note, we're gonna we're gonna move on. Now, this is just a simple would you rather. A series of simple would you rather questions. Okay.
Okay.
Would you rather have a time machine that only goes forward or backwards in time?
Do you still get to pick how far forward you go?
Yeah,
Or backwards?
you can control it. You can control how far and how often, but you can only go either forward or only go backward.
Oh, backwards, 100%. I'd rather go backwards, make a shit ton of money buying stocks and stuff like that, and then just be a couple, not even that far earlier, just like 10 years earlier. Like I'd be okay with being 49 right now instead of 39, but being fucking loaded. But I'd be petty as fuck too, and I'd purposely just go and just interrupt people like Elon Musk
ruin days.
and no, all the people that I think are massive douchebags. I would just go, I'd invest in their thing and then just tank it. Fuck your Tesla, fuck your PayPal and your space. Actually, not PayPal. I like PayPal. I would fuck with Amazon. Like I would be so fucking petty after I just somehow made. And it'd be suspicious the amount of money that I made because I'd be investing in everything and betting on every Super Bowl horse race. Right. They'd be like, I'd be under investigation. Right. I'd have so much money that I wouldn't care. I'd just be on my own private island, just lounging with a rocket launcher. Like,
here's
come
what
at
I like
me.
about you, Robin, because my petty and your petty is different. My petty is straight up, hey, that girl who sold me that hamburger at the McDonald's, I think she was being a little snarky. I'm going to go back in time and stab her dad.
Yeah, it would definitely be backwards in time because I feel like I would try and get on like every game show to try it out, memorize the answers as best I can, go back in time, do the game show and get everything correct and win and just become a celebrity that way. Like, this guy knows all the game shows. He knows all the answers.
Nice. Okay.
that would be my fun experiment to do.
Nice. Okay.
I would go forwards in time because I've already played my how petty I am card, and there's no fucking way I would use this for good of any kind. I would have to go forward. I can't go backwards. You know how many bodies would be in my wake?
Right. Okay. So next one. Would you guys rather fight a rooster every time you got in your car, or once a year fight an orangutan armed with a sword?
I mean, the rooster, then just toss its ass on the grill after.
Hey, have you been around roosters? Do you know how much, like, how big?
Yeah, it's fine. You can be as big a dick as you need to be if you're only like.
But you're having to fight a rooster.
Yeah, but I'm not driving. I can focus on just like choking the chicken.
I know, it's every time which
is how Jobin's most commute is.
Aren't you recording your podcast in your car right now? So right now you'd be just fighting your own.
I assume that he would have gotten into the car before he recorded and has already defeated the chicken in one-on-one combat.
Just every question's out of breath, apologizing for bleeding.
So you'd rather fight the rooster, Jobin?
I don't want to fuck with orangutans.
I've ShadoSpartan.
No.
It is a tough one, but yeah, I wouldn't want to have to fight a rooster every time I get into my car, so I'm going to have to go with the other one. I get time to prepare and fight this orangutan. And exactly.
I'm going with the orangutan, and the reason being is that out of all my research on gorillas, realizing they can barely. Like, there's no fucking way that thing knows how to hold a sword. There's just no fucking way. It doesn't have the thumb to do it, and it might be super strong. It's just gonna try to eat it. If anything, it's gonna.
Right. Okay. Right. And what kind of like with those long lanky arms? Like what kind of actual
It's
attack
got
could
no.
it
I mean,
swing at you?
it can't. It can barely lift its head. Its arms over its head. Right? Like it's an orangutan. So like it's what kind of motion do you think it's gonna get out of that shit?
Right.
You're making very good
So
points.
I mean that's kind of what I was thinking. That was my thought.
Yeah.
Now to play devil's advocate, like you can avoid the rooster just by like taking an Uber or something, or like
Can you just like put a blanket over the rooster? So like at some point in time, you've got to make multiple trips in your car. You just have multiple roosters under a blanket, or do you have to fight one to the death every time?
Actually, he didn't say to the death. You can just chuck it out the window, right?
Yeah. You just fight one, but it's not. Yeah.
Should I just close the door really fast on it?
yeah. I mean, you know what? Let's say as you just have to rid your car of the rooster every time.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it just disappear, or is there now an army of roosters waiting for me?
I thought it just teleports into your car as soon as you close the door.
Okay.
No, don't be silly. It's gotta walk.
It's no. Let's say, it's just magically in there. Every time you go to get in your car, and in order to start your car, you have to rid your car of the rooster.
Can the rooster drive?
Can the rooster drive? Ah, this is why you're last. Can the rooster drive? No, the rooster can't drive. That would be ridiculous.
Because like if you pretended you lost and you just laid down in the back seat, is it gonna still drive you where you need to go?
The rooster can't drive.
Also, Uber is not a financially
You said it was magic and it disappeared.
alternative.
No, you're right. They can't get a license in California anyway.
Right? Yeah, they don't have a proper address.
I give that one.
Anyway, okay, all right. We're gonna move on. Now, this is a big one. This is a very important one. Would you guys rather shit every time you sit down, or pee every time you stood up?
I mean, pee every time I stood up easily because I'm up and down all day at work. That would be easily like 2 to 3 dozen shits in a 8-hour period.
Okay, all right, ShadoSpartan.
Gonna have to go with the pee because you could just wear a diaper, and every time you stand up, just pee in your diaper. So
Okay,
I think that's better.
I just want to be clear. This isn't like, oops, some pee got out. This is like full on, like you're 5 years old again, and you're just like standing there, like I'm peeing my pants.
Yeah,
not
that's
just
what
saying
the
like a
diaper's
little
for.
dribble.
Yeah, that's what the diaper's for. So
If you
I'm still going with it.
If you have a quality
Okay.
diaper, then you'll be fine.
I'm gonna go with pee because I'm already 40 years old and I feel like I gotta shit myself every time I sit down anyway. This is not even a real question for me.
Plus, could you imagine the frustration of going to the bathroom, sitting down, taking a shit, and then you go back to your office, sit down, and then take a shit?
You see,
I would just sit once and then use a wheelchair for the rest of my time.
See, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? Both options are very inconvenient.
See, your dumb rooster can drive portion is invalid, but we're both gonna sit and shit our own shit, but once ever.
No, I'm just thinking, okay, I'll just stand. I mean, eventually I'll have to go to sleep, I suppose.
You just lay down. Just don't sit.
Actually, yeah. Laying down is safe. Oh, I'd get one of those cool monitor arms and make my monitor vertical. Yeah.
You just jump over your bed, go stiff like a board, and then you just lay down. It's like, that's not sitting.
Just plank in the air.
All right. Okay. Perfect. We got about enough time for one more plus bonus one. Would you guys rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
The 100 duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just go
All
around. Right. Just like I'll just put on some fucking real big fish and just skank my way through the crowd, kicking everywhere. I'm just done. I win and I get to jam out.
Put on my steel toes. All right, ShadoSpartan.
Oh man, are you gonna pick the giant duck? Damn it. No, because he is ShadoSpartan. I have a feeling there's a part of him that wants the actual challenge.
He wants the challenge.
If I can stop laughing. I can't stop laughing. I guess the only question is, do the small horses, do they keep like the equivalent strength? Like they're like Ant-Man, where they're still just as strong?
No. It's not like equivalent strength inside a duck.
Okay,
no, it's scaled. The strength is scaled.
Scaled down. Okay. Gonna go with the 100 then. Same kind of thing. You just kick them and you just see like 10 or 20 of them go flying into the distance.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Underscore?
No, I'm going with everybody else's answer.
Yeah.
Horses are huge. Plus, I'm 5'6". We're almost the same size anyway of all the fucking ducks. Like, it's already going to be a hard fight every day. Trying to get to my car with the rooster in it. It's gonna fucking blow. And then after I get home, I gotta fight an orangutan with a sword. Can you imagine all this shit? But then I can see into the future, and my future is you gotta fight that orangutan with a sword.
Yeah, but you can see his moves 2 minutes ahead.
If you don't want to bother with it, you just start screaming and turn invisible. Fuck you all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're screaming like, why the fuck did I give him so much time? I gave Nickell an hour.
I gave Nickell too much power. All right. Okay. So,
is your last question, man? Does Mike really hate me?
No, I know the answer to that one. So this one is, for bonus time. It's a thinker, but I like it. So if you could remove 1 cubic yard of material from anywhere on the planet, what would you remove to cause the most amount of chaos? Did I make the question clear enough just to make sure you guys understand?
Yeah, but my answer is all like, my answer's all borderline, like border on like terrorist actions. So I'm like, should I?
Yeah, do you want that to record in a public space?
Because I was immediately just like, let's take out that much space of the main support of the Burj Khalifa. Like, imagine that just falling down like a fucking, just across that city. But like I said, now I'm feeling a little bit 9/11-y right now, and I feel like that shouldn't have been my answer.
FBI comes knocking on your door.
Yeah, to my FBI agent who's monitoring me right now. It's just all very
hypothetical.
It's very hypothetical.
Yeah.
What
he said? Happy Father's Day. Can you please
speak
to the microphone?
Try to avoid, death, but we want to cause chaos. Like how could you cause the most amount of chaos?
Do people care that much
No.
about Arizona?
Hell no.
Sweet.
You
I'm just
kidding
going to
me?
remove one big ass cube out of that fucking dam. Just going to turn Arizona into a lush oasis by flooding it.
All right. What about you, ShadoSpartan?
Can I remove like a part of the core of our planet? Have that cause a bunch of chaos?
That's a good one.
I'm sure that'll affect the Earth in some way, and
I remember,
a nice little
I
chunk
wonder
of it.
if removing a cubic yard of that would cause that much chaos. But that's a good answer.
Yeah, that's my thought process. Yeah,
Like maybe it throws off the rotation just enough to make winter summer. You know? Huh. Okay.
yeah,
Underscore.
could be.
I would take 1 star off every American flag I could find until it equaled about a cubic yard, and that would put it.
That's got to be. It's got to be one. It's got to be 1 solid cubic yard of material.
See, just like Jobin said, like everything comes down to like how many people can I destroy in a single move, and it doesn't make me feel good about any of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, let me help you out. Let me help you out. The one answer that I read that I thought was flippin' brilliant. Now, it does cause a death, but this person was like, I would, when the Pope is on live TV, just remove a cubic foot or a cubic yard from around his head. No, just like completely remove the Pope's head.
I didn't think you could do that.
On live TV in front of the crowd.
Oh, God.
Because that would then just cause complete and utter chaos among religion and science, and like nobody would be able to explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, very valid point.
Now that's not my answer. That's not what I came up with, but that's the one that I read, and I was like, this is a good question to ask people.
Would that count though? Because you're essentially just saying I'm just going to take off someone's head.
Because it's a cubic yard of any material.
But there's multiple materials in that cubic yard. You have oxygen and hydrogen and Pope head.
Well, then, if it changes your guys' answer, I'll be more clear, and I will say a cubic yard of anything in existence within that cubic yard.
So you're just removing a cubic yard of matter.
Yeah. Not any one specific matter, but matter, period.
I mean, I do like that answer. I think that would probably cause the most chaos because, like you said, it would impact from the religious perspective. Everybody who's just like, holy shit, the Pope his head got vaporized. Do we have an angry and vengeful God? And then science would be like, what the
Science would be like, I don't know how to fucking explain this.
Yeah, no, actually, I think that answer trumps anything I would ever come up with. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah. That's somebody put some thought into that one.
Because anything I can think of would not defeat pissing off both religionists and science at the same time.
Right. Not even pissing them off, just like confusing the hell out of them.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, but that's why I like to ask people to see if, they come up with a better one. But I
never would have thought like taking a cubic yard of flesh to make somebody's head fall off would have counted. But that actually is the best answer, unless you can think of something else.
No, I think when you're talking about the quality of the chaos,
that is some A+ quality chaos.
It is. That would have the biggest impact of all.
I think this mystery person wins this question. Like all of us lost.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Internet Man. Holy shit.
If I could have seen 2 minutes into the future, I would have just stolen the fucking answer.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So you know what? With that, I think I'm done. Thank you for.
You said we had a bonus question.
That was it. That was the bonus question.
Oh, I thought we had one more question and then a bonus question.
But with that being said, I am done. Thank you guys for entering my world of madness.
I realized, I don't have an outro for you, so we're just gonna let it sit there. You happy? Happy
We're
you
gonna
brought
let
us
it.
here? I'm just gonna let it sit there. Yeah. This is what it's like to be in the Nickell vicinity.
Yeah. Well, it never ends. Is the problem?
No, it never ends. I still feel like I want to die. I guess, regretfully, this is Mike _ for the rest of the Time Pals, Jobin, Nickell, and ShadoSpartan. We'll see you next time.
All right. Ciao.